Thank you for joining You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers. Today's question is, what should I do if I disagree with the team's decision for an IEP? So there are a couple options that you have, and I'll start with just some very small things that you can do and then move towards a little bit of a bigger step. And this won't be an exhaustive list. But before I get into the answer, I want to remind you that if you are an educator or a parent, you are a valued member of the IEP team. IEP teams function not unilaterally, so one person does not get to make all the decisions, but it is the consensus of the team. Every IEP meeting should have a LEA, a local education agency representative. That person is there to ensure that whatever is put into the IEP, that the district or the local school can comply with that. They're also responsible for making sure that there are no compliance issues with the IEP, and those are kind of some non-negotiables. But most of the IEP decisions that are made is made with the consensus of the team. So what happens if you don't agree? If you don't agree, the first thing that I would suggest is that you ask that it be documented in the notes of the IEP, the reasons why you don't agree. If this is a hard disagreement for you, something that you feel like we can't live without this, then I would think that your step would be to ask for a facilitated IEP meeting. Most districts have staff that are trained to facilitate IEPs. For districts that don't have staff that are trained to facilitate IEPs, most states have a process by which you can contact them and ask for a facilitated meeting, and they will have someone who is trained in the process come in and facilitate the meeting. The benefit to a facilitated meeting is that it is a non-biased or impartial person who comes to the table and walks through a similar process really anywhere where we're doing a facilitated IEP meeting. The first thing is to build consensus, and you always start with the strengths of the students just because it's easier to be able to get everybody on the same page. So you work through the strengths of the students, building consensus along the way, and then you move to what are the weaknesses or the deficit areas. And again, it's predicated on everyone having a voice, and you build a consensus. And once you agree on here are the weaknesses, then the next step is how do we address those weaknesses? What do we need to put in place as supports to start to close those deficits or those gaps for those individual students? Because this process is heavily built on building consensus while giving everyone a voice and making sure that everything flows, normally the facilitated IEP process yields really good results for individuals who feel like their voice had not been heard or that they were in strong disagreement with the team. There are times where the facilitated process still ends up with results that are not favorable for one individual or another, and then you would pursue other options above and beyond the facilitated IEP. But I would start with the first step, documenting the disagreement, asking for it to be put into the notes of the IEP, making sure it's on the student's record, and then my next step would be to request a facilitated IEP meeting by which I know my voice will be heard, and I will look towards building consensus for the supports that a student needs to be successful. I hope that this helps you. As always, if you have questions, please send them. We're more than happy to answer. Following this video will be some resources that can help you, and if you click on the description within the YouTube link, you will find more resources and supports that should be able to help you when you're disagreeing with an IEP team decision. Thank you and have an awesome day.